core, the Act ignores what science tells us about the differences between men and women, leaving women and girls to pay the price in shelters, locker rooms, and on the field of play. The same goes for a similar bill dubbed Fairness for All, which proposes meager and likely temporary carve-outs for religious groups. In short, the Equality Act doesn't offer equality. It creates victims. How would the Equality Act do this? By adding gender identity and sexual orientation to federal laws like the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the act seeks to impose the government's views about marriage, sex, and what it means to be male and female on the entire nation. For starters, the Equality Act would mandate that men who identify as women be allowed to compete for spots on female sports teams, for women's scholarships, and for other academic and sports-related opportunities designed specifically for women. Female athletes like Selena Soule, Chelsea Mitchell, and Alana Smith know this firsthand. They've all become victims of local policies similar to the Equality Act that force them to compete against biological males in competitive track meets. The results are predictable. Over a 3-year period, high school girls in Connecticut missed out on 15 titles and 85 opportunities to advance to the next level of competition. With the Equality Act, female athletes across the country will pay the price for ignoring the meaningful biological differences between men and women. Women competing against similarly gifted and trained males know the outcome of the race before it even starts. In 1 year, 275 high school boys ran faster times than the lifetime best of world champion sprinter Allison Felix. That's hardly equality. Rather, it's discrimination against women and girls. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The Equality Act also poses a major threat to the very existence of religious organizations like schools, charities, and even churches. For many Americans, their faith inspires them to act for the good of their neighbors and for the flourishing of society. Their faith also requires them to abide by its teachings regarding marriage, sex, and what it means to be male and female. But the Equality Act directly threatens the ability of religious organizations to serve others according to the beliefs that inspire them. The act would force faith-based adoption providers, for example, to violate their core beliefs by placing children in homes without a mother and a father. Worse, the act could forbid nearly every religious school, charity, and church from hiring staff and leaders that share their religious views, if those views diverge from the new government orthodoxy. Under the Equality Act regime, the federal government may have more say over the next pastor of your church than your congregation, denomination, or diocese.